Morning, y'all. Police departments now face a communication crisis shaped by a force they did not create and cannot ignore. Social media has replaced local reporting, rewriting public expectations and shifting policy debates away from evidence. Departments that once relied on newspapers to explain complex decisions now confront thousands of amateur commentators who can redirect the community in minutes. A collapse of local news widened the gap. Communities lose shared understanding when hometown reporting disappears. Government spending grows, civic life shrinks, and misinformation fills the void. Into that vacuum step influencers whose motives are unknown and whose reach is unprecedented. Social media presents a deeper threat. It can unravel evidence-based tactics, moves to end the chokehold spread through viral pressure, even as research showed as benefits in reducing force. Online platforms accelerate emotion, not context, and departments must respond before false narratives become policy. Understanding persuasion on these platforms is critical. The persuasion knowledge model shows how people respond when they sense manipulation. Users react based on what they think the influencer knows about them, not on facts about policing. This imbalance makes officers vulnerable to narratives designed to provoke distrust. Machine learning may help stabilize the landscape. Algorithms can scan thousands of articles and comments to identify trends, biases, and predictable flare-ups. Used responsibility. This gives departments a way to correct misinformation with precision. Used poorly, it risks deepening suspicion about digital surveillance. A history between police and media shows both conflict and cooperation. News outlets relied on police data to inform the public. Police relied on journalists to explain why policies exist. That relationship held even under strain until social media rewired the environment. Today, conflict grows when journalists bypass official channels and officers distrust reporters who source information from witnesses online. Both institutions believe they should guide the public narrative, and both feel undermined when outsiders take control. Unmanaged conflict spreads fast across platforms that reward outrage over accuracy. Change requires an action plan built on social network theory, social identity theory, and group decision making. Departments must acknowledge that policymaking now occurs in massive online communities. A small organized group of 3.5%, they can drive reform with more force than any editorial board. Ignoring these groups leaves agencies reacting to trends instead of shaping them. The plan begins with education. Officers must understand how networks form, how messages spread, and how identity shapes digital conflict. They must learn to communicate with clarity and respond with inflaming tension. Without inflaming tension, this transforms the department from a single PIO to a distributed communication team. Second, agencies must use social media to build authentic engagement. One-way announcements do not change perceptions. People respond to conversations, transparency, and data. Frequent thoughtful posts can redefine community expectations and reduce the impact of misinformation. Third, departments must adopt solutions like conflict court. When officers encounter nonviolent resistance, they can issue notices to appear rather than escalate on the scene. This prevents viral confrontation, reduces force, and gives both parties time to breathe. It reframes enforcement as a structured process instead of a television conflict. Fourth, departments must build a PIO squad. A single spokesman cannot manage the volume or speed of online discourse. A trained team can create posts, verify information, respond to emerging narratives, and maintain credibility during crisis. This mirrors how the military communicates in complex environments through coordinated discipline messaging. Fifth, agencies must prepare for big data policing. Social media posts, live streams, and digital alerts provide early warning during protests and disasters. With proper oversight, departments can detect mobilization patterns, identify risk, and deploy resources more effectively. Both these tools must come with privacy safeguards to maintain public trust. Finally, departments must strengthen their spiritual and ethical foundation. Policing does not require perfection, it requires humility, consistency, and fairness. Officers encounter suffering daily and must anchor their work in a sense of purpose that outlasts online noise. This prepares them to respond calmly even when attacked by misinformation or hostility. If departments fail to adapt, they lose their voice in policy debates. If they embrace a structured communication strategy, they can rebuild legitimacy. Social media can divide communities, but it can also connect them if used with discipline and integrity. The future belongs to agencies that act now. They must train their people, protect their message, and guide the conversation before others guide it for them. Lo sabes.